Okay, so we're going to do a little alignment review here. So the first thing I want to do to help find my alignment is find my hips, the pokey parts of my hips. Very technical term for these bones right here, not the outside part of my hips, these right here. And I want to put my feet directly underneath those. It's usually about a fist and a half worth, and it's usually closer than you think it is, right? It's not where we normally stand, okay? So first of all, I found that nice connection. Obviously my feet are in a nice parallel front. Key thing about alignment is that we're putting some tension into our body to get it in an aligned place. Do not let your knees lock. It's really easy to do. Constant reminder to just jiggle your knees and make sure they're released. So from here, we're just gonna roll down, okay? Just take a moment to just roll down. Knees are loose. Knees are loose. And then we're gonna roll up, nice and easy. And we're gonna stack our pelvis on top of our feet. Okay, and stopping right there. Then we're gonna stack our core, our rib cage, the bottom parts of our rib cage, our belly, all of that on top of our pelvis. Notice that my chest is still over. And then we're gonna put that chest up on top. My head and neck are still down, okay? And then lastly but not leastly, my head and neck are just gonna float up. Okay, and that's a good start to finding our alignment. I'm gonna do it one more time facing this way so you can sort of see the progression. Again, finding my stance, okay? And then rolling down. Knees are loose, notice, not locked. And then rolling up, putting the pelvis on top of the feet. Okay, and then I'm going to put my core on top of the pelvis. And then I'm going to stack my chest, my rib cage on top of the core. My head and neck are still down, and then I'm going to let my neck and head just float up. I'm also taking a lot of the bend out of my knees out there too in order to send the crown of my head up to the sky. All right, and that's really the key right there, is the crown of the head up to the sky, not the forehead. If the forehead, I go like that, no good. If I send the back of my head up, I go like that, no good. So imagining that skeleton we've talked about, that there's a string or a hook or whatever that just pulls that skeleton up and your body just hangs off of that string. So now that we've found that nice aligned place, let's just check for any possible problems that you might have. Okay, and I'm going to do this facing this way so you can see. So the one thing that happens a lot is that we get a little bit of a sway back, all right? And so how we're going to adjust for that, we're just going to exaggerate it. And then I'm going to put my hand right here where I can feel that exaggeration. And then I'm just going to tilt it back into place. Nice and easy, okay? And I can feel this is how flat my back can be, and that's going to differ from person to person, okay? But this is for Laura, this is where my back is nice and flat, all right? This is not my habit. I have to remind myself to do this, okay? Good. So that's one thing. The other thing that sometimes we like to do is throw our shoulders back a little bit. Now this is an exaggeration. I doubt any of you have this massive shoulder back, but we want to adjust for that. Usually it's a little bit smaller. The way we've been taught to stand up straight is usually like this, and the chest goes out, and which throws the shoulders back. But my knees automatically lock when that happens, and that's no good. So constant little bounce here to remind the knees not to lock. Yep. So how we're going to fix this, the first thing we're going to do is just shoulders up to the ears and release them. Feel that? The shoulders actually fall where they're supposed to. Another thing that you can do is just roll your shoulders back. You'll hear yoga teachers say this a lot. Roll your shoulders back and then release them down. But sometimes that roll your shoulders back leaves us here. I know that's not what yoga teachers intend, but I've seen it happen. So shoulders back instead of forward, right? Obviously we don't want this. Shoulders back and down, right? But I have found that the best way to get your shoulders where they need to be is to just bring them up to your ears. This is obviously not good posture, right? And then we release them. And they fall where they're supposed to, yeah? Feel that string just lifting us up. We're nice here. Now, the best way to check this is looking in a mirror. You can see anytime it starts to go back, you can see anytime the sway back starts to happen. And if you practice this twice a day for 5 minutes each, I promise you that this stance will be very, very easy, and it will be a part of your vocabulary, will be part of your habit, so that anytime you need it, whether it's your actor neutral or whether it's a period thing, that you will have it. Now, the last thing we want to do with our aligned place, we've got this, all right? We've tucked our pelvises, we've got our shoulders in the right place. Chins are, I should stand this way, you can see better. All right, chins are parallel to the floor. In my imagination, I like to add a tiara or a top hat, something that makes you just feel more lifted, really using that top of vertical energy, yeah? Again, sending the energy up from the crown of the head. And now the last piece is we're just going to, from right here, just send our energy forward just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit of front sagittal. It's not huge. See, here's me without it, and here's me with it. It's just a tiny bit. Don't forget to keep your knees from locking. This is where people lock their knees. My body wants to do it too, right? So I'm reminding myself. But it's just a little bit of front sagittal energy. So I'm going to show you again. Just top of vertical, and then really all I'm doing is putting a little more weight into my toes. A little bit of front sagittal. Again, it doesn't mean you have to look like this, right? Also make sure your head doesn't stick out like a turtle. Nobody wants that. All right, so just allowing that to be there. Good. And so you are now ready. Your ready position. Good. 5 minutes, twice a day. Please do it. Thank you. That's our alignment.